the new story. Okay? So at the end of this parable, the 10-year-old Adam who heard the story is now a grandfather. And he's been through his life, and things have happened, to the story. The two main characters are the story and the guy, okay? Things have happened to the story too. But now he's telling a story of everything to his granddaughter. Her name is Dawn, okay? 10 years old, situation's reversed. They're in the same place, by the way, where he heard the story. It's different from the one he heard. What was first, spirit, now comes last. So I'm going to read a condensed version here. And then, because the time had come, Adam told Dawn the story of everything. He told it to her his way, with matter on the first day. Out from a point it came, atoms, galaxies, and stars. One generation, a second, and on the story flowed the great and small of it, the great and small of matter. Earth came into being. It was August of the cosmic year, a place for speakers of the story. Life emerged, bacteria and genes, dinosaurs with parrot beaks, fish with horns, plants with mouths. When Adam looked up and saw the first stars of night, he began to feel as though he were telling the story to the universe itself. He came to November of the cosmic year, and then December, and then the last few days, the last few hours, the last few minutes. He got to what was circling stars, to what was circling hours. Baseball and compassion, art and music, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Spirit, rising out of matter, rising out of life, everything evolving. He looked at Dawn. You are the story's surprise, he said. You come from stardust. So in the old story, the sequence was spirit, then matter, then life. In the new story, the sequence is almost the mirror image. First matter, then life, then spirit. In the end, Adam doesn't tell his granddaughter, you come from the breath of God. He tells her, you come from stardust. Okay. Big difference, yeah, big difference. If the old story was the one that the Judeo-Christian religion gave us, the new story is the one that science gives us. If the old story was a story of design and creation, the new story is one of evolution and emergence. The new story is aware of deep space and deep time. It's a vast universe and an old universe, 13.7 billion years from the beginning until now. I don't think I'm telling you anything new. I mean, I think you've heard this before. Just asking you to think about spirit in the beginning versus spirit at the end. And spirit just at the end. In the new story, it comes out of the blue at the very last moment. So to get that idea in perspective, you can do what Adam had done when he was referring to August and November of the cosmic year. He had taken those 13.7 billion years and collapsed them into 1 year. It comes out to about 26,000 years to the minute. And in that scale, the new story comes out like this. Okay? January 1, the stroke of midnight, the Big Bang. In a matter of seconds, we have hydrogen nuclei, hydrogen atoms, and a little helium. Matter as we know it. The universe expands and cools. A week into January, stars and galaxies are born. And in the months that follow, they go through several generations, dying and being born again, creating the elements, especially carbon, critical to life. Around the end of August, Earth comes into being. Life appears in late September, at least on Earth. When do we show up? Not until the last day of the year, December 31st. Not in the morning of the day, not in the afternoon, but in the last hour, in the last few minutes. So if you give a date to Homo sapiens at, say, 200,000 years, we're talking about 11:52 p.m., 11:53 p.m., just recently. And when is there evidence of spirit? There's a cave in Africa on its southern tip where patterns of triangles have been found etched on ochre stone. They look like the product of a thinking mind. Those triangles are 70,000 years old. That's about 3 minutes to midnight. In a cave in France, there are beautiful paintings of animals that go back 35,000 years. That's art. I mean, that's clearly the product of a thinking mind. Nearby are flutes made of bone that go back 32,000 years. Okay? Music. We're under a minute and a half now. So let's say there's evidence of spirit, ballpark, 50,000 years ago. In our cosmic year, that's 2 minutes to midnight on New Year's Eve. Okay? So in the news story, spirit just happened. It emerged. I mean, this is the word. It emerged moments ago. Tellers of the news story trace it all the way back to that hydrogen on January 1st. Successive generations of stars convert the hydrogen into heavier and heavier chemical elements in their furnaces. They die, they spew this debris out, it forms other stars, and ultimately they produce the carbon on which life is based. And that is why Adam tells his granddaughter, "You come from stardust." Okay? She does, literally. We do. Okay? Something of you, something of me was in a star that died and fed its remains, its dust, back into the universe. Okay? So that's the news story. First matter, then life, then spirit. You come from stardust. I was intrigued by the news story in bits and pieces. I was curious about it. It had the authority of science. I wasn't scratching my head yet over a little detail. Okay. In fact, an extraordinary claim. All on its own, the story said, matter could produce something very immaterial. You know, it could produce spirit.
Well, you talk about the awareness of spirit as coming so late in our evolution, but I'm wondering if the spirit wasn't always there, it was the awareness, the evolution of our brains.
So what to do about the puzzle? Maybe spirit was always there.
I hope so.
I hope so. That's great. Okay. This is what to make of the puzzle now, huh? All right.
And I still have a problem in my human way of thinking of the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nothing comes matter,
Mm-hmm.
and science hasn't been able to get back beyond that Big Bang. So for me, there has to be something there, and that's where I stick in spirit.
In your new story, you say this matter came first,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to consider Einstein showed that matter converted into energy.
Mm-hmm.
It also works the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Energy can be converted into matter.
Mm-hmm.
So the real beginning may have been energy,
Mm-hmm.
spirit,
Mm-hmm.
which then converted into matter at the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So my next two sections are, what do you mean by spirit? And what do you mean by matter? You know, it's kind of where the discussion goes then, isn't it?